There he is, ladies and gentlemen. That is the great Jeffrey Jacklich, right there, front and center, looking, quite dapper today, even though it's raining up there in Napa, California. He's got the right attitude. Just the right attitude, man. It's just like, look, I could complain, but people would go, "You're so full of crap, Jeff. Just shut up."
Yeah. Come on, put on the stuff.
Well, it's like
Daddy always said, walk in and dress like you own the joint.
Well, you're looking very sharp there in the K-Swiss top, and even if you're not feeling it, you know how it is as a teaching pro. You could wake up and not feel great, but you got to go out there, and you can't bring that stuff with you to your students, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be the best day ever.
Yeah. Yes, everybody knows in the infamous words of Billy Crystal, right? It's better to look good than to feel good.
Oh. Well, that's true. That's true. It's kind of like on the tennis court. God, I feel like crap today, but I sure look good. Does that count at all?
As a matter of fact, speaking of Fernando, right? And I know we just had a little backside before we started was about Fernando, and it's like it was Fernando's Hideaway, wasn't it? Saturday Night Live, where he did that skit where it's better to look good than to feel good.
Okay, all right.
Anyway,
all right, man. Well, listen, I got a question for you today. This is a hot seat question. You don't know what's coming.
Don't know. I'm gonna start bobbing and weaving here just in case I need to dodge.
I want to give a little gap of silence to kind of build it a little bit.
All right.
Jeff?
Brent?
How do we feel unrushed?
How do I feel unrushed?
On the court. How do we go out there and get rid of that feeling where it's like a tsunami coming at me. I'm feeling rushed all the time. How do I feel unrushed?
Wow. What an interesting question. There's so many things.
You're getting some kind of crazy static. Go ahead and talk.
Is there something on the...
There's something. There is something, but that was crazy. Like if someone's just listening to this audio thing, I'm going to keep it in there because the timing was perfect. But it's like you had this Darth Vader times 10 crazy, scary thing. So I'm going to repeat the question, and maybe that's how it comes out. How do we stop feeling rushed out there?
That's an amazing question because there's the physical side of it and the emotional, mental side of it, right? How do you? Because the question, how do you feel rushed, right? You didn't say.
How do we feel unrushed? Because I feel it too. I'm playing a certain guy, and the next thing you know is I just feel like I'm kind of underwater, right? I'm just I'm coming up, and I can only get my mouth out there, take a quick little gulp, and then the guy's on me. Right, and it could be a serve and volley guy, or it could be a chip and charge guy, but I'm feeling rushed, and I don't want to feel that anymore. So what do I do? Come on, you're the pro, man. I'm asking you.
Well, personally, okay, here's what I'm catching that whole scenario right there, because I wasn't sure what direction to go with the question,
Well, I didn't mean like when I'm shopping at Whole Foods or something like that. Gosh, I feel rushed here in the in the shampoo section.
Yeah. In the shampoo, where I'm feeling rushed because I'm the only one in line that has coupons, and I know the people behind me are going to really be pissed.
Right.
So no, not that kind of rush.
No.
Okay, but yeah, you're on the court. The guy's kind of overwhelming you, and you got to figure out a way to slow this thing down.
Yeah.
So one, the physicality of it is slowing it down. You have X amount of time in between points. What is it? 20 seconds now or 25?
Right.
So you got to milk. You got to milk that. You got to slow it down, right? In between every point. It may be a slightly different cadence for you, but you got to do this because you got to play as few points as possible while the guy is overwhelming you. You got to have the least number of points played in that time frame. So the end of the match again gets put off. We've touched on this a little bit in the past, but this is a different kind of angle on that situation. Next is I got to get the ball airborne. So even if he's serving and volleying, can I put the ball up out of the sweet spot in terms of a high volley? Can I get the ball up where he's going to have to pull up early if he's a serve and volleyer and hit that first ball from somewhere between the service line and the baseline, and not as a volley, but some sort of halfy swingy kind of stroke?
Or couldn't as if it's a serve and volley guy too, couldn't I slow everything down rather than think about hitting it, driving it? Couldn't I just feather something slow? And again, I can give myself margin, but something slow that does slow down time.
Right.
And
I was kind of thinking that if the guy has a decent first serve and he's on you a little bit,
right,
it can be a little tough to absorb that and just feather this thing back.
True.
So I was thinking, my first thing is if the guy's got a big first serve, I got to get the ball airborne, and I'm talking about a good solid 6-7 feet over the net.
We're talking 70s. We're talking 65s and 70s.
Right.
No one's maybe it's a self-imposed rushing. The serves aren't that big. So maybe I'm just perceiving that it's a big deal.
Well, okay, so I get you though, absolutely. Yeah. There's not a lot of guys either, even in the 55s, that have the big cannon anymore. There's just a few of the guys that can still do it. So yeah, the next is if it's a handleable, a serve that's definitely handleable in that kind of context, then slowing it down, soft little feathered chip. And again, it doesn't have to be hyper accurate. It just has to be dumped in, a little dump truck in front of the guy.
Right.
So he has to pick the ball up off the ground. So that's the one tactic on that side. If I'm serving and the guy's just swarming my serve, then I got to do something. Do I have access to a kicker that I can get the ball up and out of the strike zone a little bit? And then I'm not going to serve and volley. I'm going to serve and stay back and maybe hit the high roller as my first shot or two, and again, extend the point. Can I get the points to last longer? Ball to ball. So can I start pushing us into, 5 to 9 ball rallies, which eats up time, which again extends the end of the match.
Right. Sure.
And kind of hang out there and do I find out some new intel on this guy that all of a sudden when we're hanging in the 7, 8, 9 balls, does he start to get impatient and start to try and, get a little too greedy?
Yeah. Well, I also think too that like if you've got someone who loves to kind of chip and charge behind the return is I'm going to serve right at him. I'm going to serve right into the body. I'm not thinking about playing keep away. I'm serving right into the body. I want to slow them down. I want them to have incredible footwork, right? But the other thing, too, is that when I'm feeling rushed sometimes, too, is I do serve and stay back, and they return to stay back, I want to play a floater. I want to play a deep floater. I do not want to get into this thing where I'm giving the guy pace. I mean, everyone says,
right.
God, I just love it when I get pace because then there's so little I have to do technique-wise. So I'm thinking, well, why don't you do the opposite? Why don't you not give this guy pace? Why don't you float it back there and force this guy to have really good stroke technique if he's gonna continue to swarm you? And I think one of our reactions is that we're getting swarmed is we try to end the point. We try to get it away from the guy. Right. So that he can't swarm on us. And we either miss or else we give the guy pace and he goes, thank you very much.
Right. Absolutely. I think one of the probably it's a shot that isn't used as often as it should be. And that's literally like you call it the floater. I'd call it like a full court chip. So the ball, it's a backspin, and the ball actually has arc on it. It probably clears the net by 3 feet.
Sure. 2.5,
3 feet. Yeah. So there's plenty of net clearance. Lands within 2 feet of the baseline, but just like a chip shot in golf up onto the green where the ball checks up, it doesn't off that first bounce. It doesn't just hit and move forward. It actually checks up before it actually advances. And so a full court chip with an arc on it hitting in that area right up the center of the court forces my opponent to have to generate his own pace, The other subtle thing about that particular shot is that because it holds up a little bit before it moves through the strike zone, I find a lot of guys will overcrank, and they're out ahead of the ball a little bit because the ball's not just bouncing and moving through the strike zone. It bounces, like I said, it checks up a little bit, and then it kind of moves through. And so is that enough of a timing issue to actually kind of get a free one? To get the guy to overcrank, and then is he kind of have I set him emotionally on a path because he thinks he should have actually done something great with that ball?
Yeah.
Right. So there's this little, but I found that shot in and of itself. There's a few players that I play, when I get ready for a tournament, and that's one of the tactics. If I get it out in the wings, they're better than me.
Yeah.
Right? They've got the advantage, and they want to be in that linear battle. But I find some of them, if I isolate them in the middle of the court, literally, and use my backhand and do this full court chip up the center, all of a sudden, wow, I get first strike on the angles then. And a lot of times they're over cranking the ball.
Yeah.
So
I think too, when we feel rushed, and sometimes it just happens. It's not like this guy we're playing is going to do this for the next 90 minutes, right? I mean, all of a sudden they're just kind of unconscious and they're playing a couple of great shots, and we start to, God, oh my God, what's happening here? And you start to panic. And I can't remember who it was sometime. One guy once told me, I said, what do you do against this guy's serve? He's just bombing it. He says, this sounds kind of goofy, but mentally, I just slow it down. I just tell myself, I just slow it down. And it's kind of like, I tried that a few times, and all of a sudden it's like, I was making the guy serve like have an extra 25 mpHs on it, because my perception is that it was big. And so I'm going, oh my God, this guy's serve is big. It's really more like an excuse, right? Oh, it's big. No, it's not. It's not that big. We're talking about senior tennis here. Come on, let's stop it. Just stop it, all right? Let's take it to the other side. Let's say this thing is slow. And not that you're going to react slowly, but you're just mentally, I don't know how to articulate it, but you're just kind of slowing things down. So the other thing, too, is that between points, I've got my own 4-part between points routine, but one of the things that I really want to make sure I'm doing is I'm taking 3 or 4 really deep breaths. Right, that I'm really focused on that, and they're deliberate, and I'm making sure that I'm calming myself down, because sometimes we get up in here and again our perception is, oh my God, that's not Jim Smith, that's Roger Federer I'm playing today. Oh my God, no, it's not.
Yeah.
So all right, well, listen, good stuff, Jeff. I think those are good answers. And guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. We are offering a free 10-minute coaching call. It's free. It's private. The 3 of us, you, me, and Jeff, we get on the call on the phone, and we chat about that number one thing. It could be that, guys are just making you feel like you're getting just rushed, and we want to help you feel unrushed. And so the way to do that is go over to goldballhunting.com, drop in the first name and email address, and you will get immediate access to our online calendar scheduler, where you get to cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. This isn't about us, man. This is about you. You find what works best for you. If you're on our email list already, thank you. Well done. The bottom of every one of our emails, there's a link that will take you to that online scheduler. This is it. This is your time right here, dude. You've already shined a lot already in this episode.
Thank you.
But this is another time where it's all about Jeff.
Please like us. Share us. Please subscribe.
Yes, Fernando.
And let us know what you think down below.
Yes, and if your name's Fernando, we'll make the call 15 minutes for free, okay?
That's right.
That's right. Guys, again, thanks for hanging out with us today. Hope we're not, anyway. Get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day, and we will do this again tomorrow, Fernando, okay?
All right, can't wait.